I started doing workshops and doing groups where I'm getting up in front of others, like outside of the gym setting, and talking about resilience and perseverance and goal setting and vision and taking action. You should know what 1 hour of your time is worth. You should know the value that you bring to the marketplace. You know what your passion is. Starts with clarity of vision. If you don't have the clarity of vision, whatever next thing you get, you're not going to see it through because you don't have the clarity of vision. So the point of my pain was being told you will never run or jump again. And all that stuff, I was like, you know what? Like, I want to be able to take this even bigger. If you know why you do what you do, you have to know how to charge for what you do. That's how you're going to change your life, and that's how you're going to leave a legacy for your children and your family. You got to know your worth. Happy Wednesday. This is Rob, and I'm back with episode number 362 of Shut Up and Grind. We were all about overcoming obstacles, defying the odds, and inspiring you to clear whatever's blocking the path from whatever success you want in this lifetime. So for today's tip, right, I had a coaching meeting with someone earlier today, and I mentioned it in the video that you just watched about clarity of vision. Okay, there's an idea, there's a goal, and then there's a vision. Those are three completely different things. And I want you to hone in on what that vision is. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want it to look like? How is that going to make you feel to get that thing? And who is it going to help? And when you get clear in those four areas, you will be unstoppable. Okay, so take your idea, turn it into a goal, and then from that goal, create the vision. All right, so today we're going to be talking about from burnout to breakthrough, reclaiming your worth. And I had the pleasure of being on her podcast, so now we're returning the favor, and she's coming on mine. So who am I talking about here? We are talking about Nicolette. Okay, so in this episode, Nic shares how she walked away from the corporate grind to create Nic Nierras Wholistic Lifestyle. Sorry if I butchered your name. A transformational coaching practice grounded in healing, a mindset, and purpose. Welcome to the show. How we doing?
I'm doing so great. Oh my God, Robert, that was a very, very wonderful introduction. Every time a host says the introduction, it lifts me up. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, thank you for being here at midnight. See, had I known that, I probably would have switched some things. Although I probably did know, but just forgot. But I would have switched some things around.
That's okay. No, I deliberately said yes to the timing because we gotta commit, right? That's we want to build something. So I'm building my empire. So we gotta do what we have to do.
It. I just used those same words a couple weeks ago. They're like, Rob, what are you up to? I'm like, building an empire.
Yes.
All right. So we're gonna dive right in. Well, first, where are you joining me from again?
Malaysia, all the way in Southeast
Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia. All right. So, how would you describe yourself? Let's dive in.
Wow, we're going right into it. I would describe myself Nicolette 1.0 or Nicolette 2.0 or 3.0. I would say right now, I sit and ponder about things a lot. And I would say, before we went on live, you asked me a question. The only thing I'm going to ask you today is, who are you at your core? I love that question because I was trying to find the very same answer, I think, 5 years ago. If I could deduce anything in this world, all the atoms into one, what would it be? And I came to the conclusion that, I know I'm getting spiritual here, but I came to the conclusion that I'm a person of faith. So I was created in God's image. And therefore, what is that? I came to deduce that I am loved and I should be loved. And why is that, right? Why is my team surrounding love? Now, I could also branch it out to peace and being joyful, being myself, being authentic. But the umbrella would be self love, because get this, Robert, I think I had my awakening back in 2019. It was my divorce. And so I went to a person who actually did all the divination tool. I mean, when you're really at the bottom, rock bottom, you don't know where you're going to run to. You're going to try everything. You're going to try, go to, and read about all the theories that you could get your hands on. Eastern, Western philosophies, name it. So I went. So he was one of the divination tool. It was tarot reading. And one of the modalities that I reached out for my healing. And so he told me 4 times. He said, Nick, I remember asking him, what about my job that I'm going, because at the time I was at the height of my career, but then I got divorced as well. So there were a lot of things I needed to process, but I did not. And I kind of suppressed everything down. And so he told me 4 times, at least in the reading, all across the it was we were together for about a few hours, and he said, Nick, it doesn't matter where you go next. If you don't love yourself, you are gonna go back to the same you're gonna end up in the same cycle. Then I said, what do you mean by loving yourself? Does it mean that I need to take myself out on dates more because now that I'm single, I gotta go to the salon more and self care? Yes, but it's not that. It's about really slowing down and tuning in to what does your inner self wants to do, or your higher self wants to do. And I'm like, what the excuse my language, what the heck are you talking about? Right? So I sat with that for at least about 2 years, Robert. And mind you, during those 2 years, things were just falling apart. Like I said, when is this gonna end? I mean, am I as those memes I have on Instagram, like, I'm ready for my life to turn around, right? And please send me those glow up kit for the next year. No, it got worse. It got worse, and COVID happened. Well, it did number on all of us. So COVID happened, and it was just like shedding my old self to really find what my true core is. And I say that's an umbrella because truly what I really wanted to achieve is inner peace. Because whatever it is that happened around me, I wanted to be the that I'm not shaken. I wanted to be so strong in my core and grounded that whatever happens, I remain calm. And a lot of things, that the decision that I made, the consequences that I had to face based on those decisions, had me rattled in my core. Because number one, I people please. I don't have my boundaries. Well, that's a consequence of, not loving myself enough, not knowing my worth, hence why I felt worthless when I got separated with my partner. That loss of relationship, I said, oh, if he doesn't love me, then what am I what am I worth now? And mind you, I tried diverting my attention to work, which I was very good to a point, and then COVID happened. Things started to dwindle again, and I'm like, damn. So two biggest departments in my life that I care about the most. The third one was family. Glad that was still intact. But this two, like 2/3 of my life, I it's like I lost them. And so that started my journey on really understanding myself. And to bring it forward right now, I would say I still have to this day, because like it or not, we are all healing until we're 6 feet underground, right? It's an ever evolving process journey. But if I could tell you right now, Robert, I would say that I'm gonna tie this back to my framework. I now know my worth, and I'm unapologetically me, and therefore that's why I'm experiencing all this abundance that I have right now. It may not be monetary terms just yet, because I moved into my entrepreneurship since my 9 to 5 last year. So very, very new. But I believe it's coming. So I hope I
Love
answered
it.
that.
Oh, I have almost a half a page of notes already of things I want. Because like I do my best to not interrupt the guest. So like I'd sit here and
Oh,
take
thank
notes,
you. Thank you
and
for
then
giving me that space. Okay, hit me with some questions then. Oh my gosh.
all right. So you unpacked a lot there, right? But let's start with feeling worthless, because I think a lot of people struggle with that. And then you also mentioned about having that. You didn't use this word, but basically being emotionally unbreakable. Because like I got myself to that part. I call it I'm emotionally bulletproof. So no matter what goes on in my life now, it cannot shake me. Like no, regardless
Yes.
of what happens. Like I've been through so much, right? So when you were feeling worthless, how did that affect you?
Like I'm worth nothing. Even though I have these accolades, even though I managed to tick all of my career goals, my personal goals, and though the life goals didn't happen, but I really thought that on paper I was successful. But inside I felt hollow. I felt shame. Wow, I've never actually said that out loud. Not
Mm.
really disgusted, but shame that I couldn't even hold my marriage together. Or because there were red flags before, but again, it takes two to tango, so I'm not going to blame the other party for the demise of the relationship, but still I've come to the conclusion also that everything happens for a reason. Had I not gone through that, it wouldn't start this cathartic change that I needed to go through, transformation, so that I can be here with you right now. Like, I would have never thought that I would be speaking to you or to any of my guests that I've spoken to for about, I don't know, 2 years now, and total of more than 200 people, had I not, really faced my inner demons.
I love your reactions. Yeah, that feeling of rock bottom, right? I've been there myself. But you
Mm.
just said something there that like if you didn't go through what you went through, you wouldn't have made that switch. Because I went through something similar, but I walked away from my business, and I walked away from my clients. I just dropped the keys on the desk and was like, "You want it? It's yours." And that was hard. That was a hard thing to do there. But that had to crumble to get me on this path that I'm on now. Because on my birthday, August 18th, I'm launching a speaker coaching program targeting veterans. So had I not gone through all of that, and then once I got myself out of the well, because I'm sure you're gonna share your rock bottom story, is when you're in the darkness, you can't see the opportunities. So it wasn't until
Mm.
I turned the light on when I started, everything just started falling into place once I went back to my vision, because when I walked away from that, I took my eyes off of my ultimate goal, and that's how I ended up in that dark space. So when you were there at your rock bottom, how did you fight your way out of it?
I got reminded by an interview that I was on with a couple of weeks back. He said, if you're doing a business and you don't fail 3 times, you're not an entrepreneur just yet. So when you said rock bottom, right? I don't know if this is gonna be the only rock bottom that I'm gonna face, but in that, at least at that moment, the only thing that I could think of was, why me? And I didn't want to go back to my parents because they were actually opposed to whatever did some of the decisions that I made. And so I had this mindset of, okay, Nick, you caused the ruckus, go fix it yourself. And I also were too prideful. I was too prideful to ask for help before when I was younger, because I have made this mission of mine to, okay, I'm going to leave home at 17 and I'm going to make it in the big city without your help. I mean, they did help me financially, sometimes. But I remember going into corporate um, um, at the age of 19 because I wanted to earn my own money. But that was the only way that I knew that I am going to be important or valued in the world because of my accolades, because of my achievements. And to answer your question, how did I pull myself out of that um, pit of darkness? It was actually just me. And it was actually befriending my guilt and really understanding why did I let myself feel this way. And I attribute this so much to this modality that I found with working with Marisa Peer. It's subconscious reprogramming, because there were a lot of narratives that I believe were true when I was a kid, but it's not true anymore. And it's so hard to detach from that, because if you've built your life or your whole identity around it, a flick of a switch wouldn't help you to just, disintegrate all of those things. But what it does, okay, I'm not going to go to the technicalities of it, but because subconscious reprogramming means that you go into your subconscious. Now, subconscious is important. Why? If not the most important, it records 24/7 of your actions day in and day out. So imagine this, having to hear, oh, you're not good enough. Why? Because your report is not up to par, or the deck that you prepared for your CEO or your chief financial officer comes back to you and say, did you do this? There's no way in hell I'm going to show this to a CEO, let alone our CEO or any CEOs out there. So that really battered my self-esteem, my self-confidence. And mind you, I was a valedictorian and made sure that I got the A's, I got the scores, and I climbed the corporate ladder. And so I thought that since I was a kid, if I worked excuse my language again, my ass off, I would get what I want. But life is not linear like that. And so that prompted me to do a deep dive into, number one, shedding my old beliefs, and number two, replacing them with what I want to be. But that also takes a lot of work. That also takes me really facing and really admitting that, hey, you really ignored some parts of yourself growing up. Why? Because you want to look good in front of others, because you want to be perceived as so and so and so. And I would also attribute it to because I've always had this connection with spirituality more than just being, beyond religion, right? And I don't want to touch into religious stuff, but I think spirituality goes beyond that. And that has actually helped me to understand that my inner reality is the cause of my outer or my outer reality, rather, it's vice versa. Outer reality is a reflection of my inner reality. So I don't know if I answered your question, Robert, but yeah, I tend to go around the
I do the
world to
same.
get to the point.
No, I do the same when I talk. You said something very strong in there. So people, like, I know mental health is a real thing, right? It's a real thing, but there's also levels. There's
Yeah,
levels.
yeah.
There are parts where you really just have to pivot into a different direction. Like I tell
Mm.
a lot of people, I'm like, you're not depressed, you're misguided. It's like you don't have a purpose. You're not working towards anything right now. Is when you have a purpose, you get up when the alarm goes off. You move with pep in your step, because what you're doing, to your point on spirituality, is not necessarily about religion. It's about something bigger than you, right? So
Yes.
helping veterans cope with PTSD and lower the suicide rate, that's a huge purpose. So when I'm doing these things and I'm on these podcasts, right? And we do this show to inspire other people to find and step into their purpose. So like that's what pulled me out of the dark space, was when I started coaching again, and then I set on a mission to get back into fitness. I was going to pivot away from fitness for a minute there. But once I
Mm.
started coaching again, my soul caught fire again. And then all that depression, all that stuff, it all vanished once I relit my soul again. So
Mhm.
just to illustrate further what you were saying about spirituality, because people quickly go to religion. Like, it's not always about religion. It's about just
Mhm.
whatever you're working on, make it bigger than yourself and bigger than money. What are your thoughts
Yes. Well, I would like to echo that with um thank you for asking. I would say so I remember this because I'm coaching a lady right now. So okay, get this. When I so I dis- I so I got fired last year. No, not fired, laid off last year, and so that pushed me into full-time podcasting and full-time, plunging into my business. But then I couldn't do it immediately, my business at least, because I was still sitting and pondering, like, is this it? Is this the end of my corporate career? Because I'd been working for at least 15 years, and so if I have to start a business, that means I have to start from ground zero. And so that would require a lot of thinking. And I went into accounting, and so I know, you gotta plan, yada yada yada. But a lot of serendipitous moments happen between me switching from the city where I used to live and to where I'm back to where I am, where I grew up in that town. I'm back in my parents' place. And so fast forward, okay, so I started the business officially in February this year. I started updating my social media. And as I was doing this, I was still talking to people, to guests, but I couldn't shake that feeling of, why would people listen? Why would people hire me as a coach? Right? Because you see, even though I've done the work, even though I've shed all the limiting beliefs, but there's still that fear of judgment. But I kept on going anyway. I kept on showing up, talking to my guests, and just putting my content out there. So get this, one day a guest came and talked to me, and she is also a podcaster, and she's got at least 2 million downloads now, on the run,
wow.
running to eat. I know, right? And I'm like, and she was saying, it's an honor for me to be on your show, and I'm like, no, it's the other way around. But at the end of the show, she said to me, Nick, I think you have fire in you, and I don't know. I kind of see your vision, but I think you just need a guide. So what I'm gonna do is, I want to take you under my wings, and she's doing that right now for me. And then get this, another one offered, and so I'm like, okay. And I've had a couple of clients, but they're not like consistent just yet. And I know, as a coach, you need to get yourself out there. You need to make yourself known, and you need to build a brand, right? As a podcaster and as a coach. So, and that takes time. They've seen Nick as an accountant or somebody who works 9 to 5, and now she's, after that, it's a podcaster. What's she doing? And now she's a coach. I mean, what is that, right? Why can't she just sit her ass down and just focus on one thing? On that note, I might have ADHD. But coming back to the point, coming back to the main story, um, the serendipitous thing, that one of it at least, a lady came to me and said, Nick, I don't know. I searched on something spiritual integration and spiritual ascension, and I found you. I never knew this lady, and she was like, I was so scared. I don't know if you're gonna be the right person for me, but I just I just I just wanted to click on that call, and she did, and we've been working for at least about 1.5 months now, and she has said at least this thing, and she got fired from her job too. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna charge you. And I'm not. This is not a pity party, okay, Robert. And I'm not trying to brag here, but because I see people who's extended her kindness towards me, and said, I'm going to mentor you because I see something in you, and this is why I'm trying to I'm trying to pay it forward with this person. And she is way younger than I am, at least 10 years younger than I am. And I can see how she was in a very difficult situation, and she just needed somebody to give her that nudge, to keep her laser focused into what she needs to do. And she even told me right now, is there any possibility that I know I'm going to get a job in the future, but is there any possibility that I could actually shadow you in the future? And I'm like, girl, of course you can. So bringing it all back, tying it all together, I think I used to think that money is everything, but it's actually not. And I think this is what spirit, God, or universe is trying to tell me. Nick, yes, you've used your intellect at least, to get by for so long. It's now to lead from your heart.
Yes.
And I know it is coming. Money is just the byproduct of it, Robert. But because this is the center of everything, we have hundreds of chakras, right? But the main chakras are seven. But this is the engine. So something, if you operate from here, trust that you will be provided for, trust that you will be protected, and trust that you will be guided.
Yes. I
Yes.
interviewed I interviewed a gentleman a couple weeks ago, and for the first time, he actually got me thinking about money,
Mm.
because he was like, Robert, he's like, I can tell you're a heart-centered guy. I said, but you're valuable. He's like, just put it out there. He's like, and just raise all of your prices, like raise all of them. He's like, and the people that can afford it, they will come to you. Like, raise
Because
everything you
yes, you
have.
I mean, come on. If people can see the value in iPhone, the people that sees
Mm,
your value, Robert, will be attracted to you, and they will pay money for your services. Mark my
absolutely.
words.
Yes. Yes, like I have a three tiered program, so
Mhm.
like I bought into these, so I know these funnels work. Like I bought into several of
Yes.
them, but you go into your free training, into your paid master class, and then a high ticket mastermind. Like that's gonna
Hmm.
be the formula. But the again, the biggest picture is, if someone is having thoughts of taking their own life, my program can help stop them. Like that's the
Exactly.
big payoff. And the fact that I can make money following that purpose, that's just an added byproduct, of the
Exactly.
main mission. But the main mission is to give people hope. But that's one of the most dangerous feelings, is when people feel hopeless. You
Hopeless.
know,
Yes.
that's oh man, it's like I've never felt hopeless before, but I've had thought, like imposter syndrome, kind of how you were
Mm.
saying, like with Joe Rogan out there, and all these celebrities and professional athletes. Like, well, why are people gonna listen to me, right? And
Yes.
my show, I'm booking into the end of April in 2026 for this show. You know what I mean? And I have 40 upcoming guesting opportunities over the next several months. And it's just one of those things. Just get going. Like people always tell me, like, what's your best advice? Start. It's like it
Yes.
doesn't have to be
Start where you
perfect.
are.
It took me
Mm-hmm.
3 years to write this book. 3 years. But I would just do a little, put it off, do a little, put it off. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. And like I was speaking with a woman earlier, and she's into like wine tasting and doing like wine shows, things of like that. And so she wants to turn it into her own thing. And but
Mm-hmm.
she works another side hustle, right? So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I went to a conference, and at the time I started my gym, but I also worked at three other gyms, right? And so as I'm at this conference, the guy is on stage, and he says, if you have a plan B, he's like, plan A is never going to come to fruition. And so like I thought about
Oh
that
my
the rest of the
gosh. Oh my God.
conference.
Repeat that
Yes.
again, please.
It's like,
Because you're
if
going to
you
be
have a
diverted.
plan B, Yes,
Yes.
yep. Plan A will never come into fruition. So on the plane ride back, because this was out in California, I'm in Rhode Island, across the country. So I wrote up my resignation letters for the three. And at first I was scared, but the guy said, if you're spending 15 to 20 hours a week in these other gyms, those are 15 to 20 hours that you're not spending on your business. And I was like, okay, touche. And so I did it. I quit
Mm-hmm.
those three. And in a short amount of time, I tripled my business just from focusing on it
You
instead of
see?
taking the easy
Mhm.
way out.
Yeah. Okay. Can I
Go
share
ahead.
my story too, Robert?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I always think of every person, message, or anything that I come across with is a message that I'm meant to hear, right? And
Mm.
so just last month, because I'm still a member of some of the association, and I need to be a member for me to be a practicing accountant. And but there's one that I really think that I don't need it. And I have two. In fact, I
Yeah.
have three. Okay,
Well,
but two are the ones that I need to pay every year. Annual subscription. And so one, I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna start with one first, and then the other one I'm gonna wait it out. But you are absolutely freakingly right. Like I cannot agree more than that, because there's always this thought behind, in the back of your mind, and that's gonna be there and say, okay, if you fail in your business, you can always land back into your corporate job, which you're good at, and I'm sure you could, probably land a pay with a job with a good pay. At least you're not on that route to go up as fast as you were before, but then you'll be able to land on something that's good. But why? Then the other part of me was saying, but why? I thought you want to give your 1000% in this business. This is what you believe. And so I'm going to take this, whatever that you said just now, as my confirmation that I'm going to write to the other association that, okay, I'm exiting as a practicing as well, only, but I'm not going to be exiting it as I'm still going to be a member, since I cannot practice as that.
yes.
So to your point, I think I heard the founder of Spanx said this: if you have a plan B, your plan A will never work out, which is what you just said, because all of your attention, what was it? Attention goes, energy flows. So energy flows where attention
Yeah.
goes. So if you
Yep.
are splitting 25, 25, 25, 25, or 50, 50, 75, 25, you're never going to make sure, or at least succeed the very thing that you're working on, because there is this feeling of what if, what if, and that is the fear, and we need to eliminate that fear, and that is killing the dreams that we all came here on earth, you know, to fulfill.
See, and to highlight that, like you have to redirect the what if. Like again, I just had this
Yes.
talk this morning. I said yes, for every negative what if, there's a positive what if. Like if you're investing in stocks, people are saying,
Hmm.
well, what if I lose it all? What if you 5x it?
Exactly.
Right? What if
Yeah.
I get hurt? What if you don't? You
Yes.
just have to lean into those positive affirmations and actually believe it. Like when I set out to do something, like if I'm going into a room to speak, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be the best speaker in a room. And that's not cocky. That's
You're gonna own the
confidence.
room.
I have my
Hmm.
I have my stories are well dialed in. And so I don't go in worrying about, oh, who's here, right? And to highlight that, I was in a room, there's 1,000 people. I only had 2 minutes to speak, and there were some big name speakers at that conference. So it was the
Hmm.
ones that I won the scholarship to. So this was 2 years later. They wanted my follow up story, and so I
Right.
got 2 minutes. Yeah, I got 2 minutes to tell my story. And now at the end of day one, this random guy comes up to me, walking by all these big name, high powered speakers. And he's like, you said exactly what I needed to hear. And that's where that confidence comes from, because I don't talk fluff. It's like I give people what they need to hear. It's like, you're in your own way. It's like, you need guidance, and here's how we can guide you. So
Yes. We are our biggest obstacle, Robert, right?
mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
and we are the most critical to ourselves. I mean, why
Yep.
is that? I mean, I know why is that, because number one, we know we have that potential beyond our own imagination. That's why we have those visions in our head. But then you wouldn't talk like that to your friend or your family members. You wouldn't. So why? So what I'm saying here is focus. You have to grind, but also I want to infuse the meaning of I want to bring in balance here. Okay, now some people are gonna contest me with balance. Now, are you really sure, Nick, there's no balance in work life? I would say yes and no. Yes, because if you really truly care about your business, you would wake up and, like you said, you will have that pep in your walk, or you cannot wait to work, get your hands on whatever it is that you're working. But because, at least for me, I've experienced burnout, and I've experienced burnout while I'm overexerting myself, and for trying to please people that, hey, I deserve this pay and this role that you paid me with. But is it aligned with my purpose? No. Does it lift people up around me? No. Does it motivate people, or do I have a legacy to leave behind if I'm not here anymore? No. And so coming back to that is, why don't, if you're already working your ass off for this particular job or your business that is not truly aligned with your core, what happens again? What if you pour your heart and soul into what you're supposed to do? But first things first, clarity, like you said, is what you need to find.
Yeah, and you mentioned the subconscious mind earlier. The answer is
Yes.
already there, right? It's already there. So I experienced burnout as well when I was managing restaurants, and I knew
Yeah.
growing up, I wanted to do something with fitness, and I wanted to do some type of speaking. Like, I grew up in the woods, and I when I was younger, I used to take a stick. The stick was my microphone, and I would give speeches to the trees in the
To the
backyard.
trees. Yes.
So,
I
so when
remember.
things were yes, so when things were winding down in the restaurant, things started elevating in fitness, but I was stuck in that place of comfort, because, like, I'm getting that check every Friday, and I was doing well with fitness, but I don't have a college degree in it, or anything, but it was one of those things that I learned enough managing restaurants.
Hmm.
I just had to transfer that over into fitness. Like, I knew hiring, firing, and you know income statements and sales estimates. So, like, I knew a lot more than I thought I knew, but I still didn't have the guts to walk away. So the universe intervened, and I got fired. Right? And then I was like, cool. Now I can just pursue fitness full time. Like, now I don't have a reason not to. It's like I collected unemployment for about 10 months or so, but in those 10 months, I finished a college course in exercise science. Like, it wasn't a degree program; it was a certificate program. But I completed that, and then I got certified as a personal trainer and group fitness. So it's like, you take that slap in the face.
Mm,
Yeah, you might dip a little in the beginning, but then you can surge, and
mm,
that's exactly what happened. And that's why I like doing this show and speaking on other shows. It's not to just talk about what I did, or just talk about what you did. It's about the how did you get there. That's what everyone always says, like, how do you do that? And that was why I wrote the book showing how. So how do you now, given all that stuff that you've been through, how do you wake up every day and turn that furnace on again?
okay, I want to simplify first, but I'll break it down. You
Okay.
got to do the work. You have to do the work. As cliche as it may sound, there's no shortcut to success.
Yeah.
Robert, you know this. So for me, priming my mind is the most important thing. And I remember talking this to a friend last night. Even though I'm a coach myself, I still have worries. Oh, okay. I still have worries. I still have the beliefs that, oh, what ifs, right? But what I do every night, I close my eyes and I imagine, and I, like I said, I'm a person of faith, and I believe, because if God put me in this path, there is something that He wants me to do, and He is going to provide me the ways to do it. Be it money, be it support, be it encouragement, or emotional support, financial support, anything, community support. But the one thing that I would say that changed my life would be, if I could, this question, if I could strip the ego self, right, off everything, and really strip it all, my achievements, my failures, everything, the good and the bad, who am I at the core? Right now we're coming back again. We're digging again. Who am I at the core? I am a friend. I am a daughter. I am a sister. And when I am all these things, did I really portray what I needed to portray as a daughter, as a friend, as a cousin, as an aunt, or just somebody who is walking randomly across the street and just, having some compassion towards somebody who's homeless? I used to walk and think that I'm all high and mighty. I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit that, because of, what I've achieved so far, at least before I got divorced, and realities slapped me in the face with all of that. And right now, the way I ground myself is to really, and I'm also intuitive. I have tuned that out for so long, and I've come to embrace that gift of mine. So right now, and I pick up energy very easily. And that's also one of the things that I do for people at the moment. I pick up their energies, and I have to learn, when I pick up their energies, I used to just block them off because it's just not me. It's not my problem to care. But right now, I really go deep and put myself in their shoes and see why are they facing such troubles or issues that they can't seem to get themselves out of from. So it's about tuning into my intuition and really learning to just have that faith, that the trusting the process, that it will unfold as it comes, and what I need will be presented to me when I'm ready. And it's opposed to the logical analytical side of Nicolette, because I am a planner. I love to plan things, and my rising is in Virgo, so I'm a perfectionist, and that kind of creeps out of me when I am doing content. So again, I need to be accountable right now with you. I have been wanting to release my content on my talking head, which I will after this tomorrow. I will. And it's a months long content, but so it is a practice. Again, tuning into your intuition, trusting the process, and really putting myself in other people's shoes, but also believing. Yes, I lost my train of thought. Oh my god. Um, but
Talk about
okay.
intuition.
Yes, the intuition, believing in myself, and trusting the process. But what I'm trying to say is, if I could strip myself out of all these good and bad things, who am I as this individual, or as a soul? And yes, it's opposed to the logical and thinking Nicolette. And this is where I guess my biggest strengths are. I take in what's good, that I've gathered from the years of working with my intuitive side and spiritual side. And this is how I mesh everything up in how I work on people and on myself. Now, I have to walk the talk. Number one, I have to know that I have to know my worth, and number two, I have to be authentic in whatever it is that I do. Robert, only then I can truly show myself to the world that, hey, this is me, this is Nicolette. And every time I shy away from not adhering to these two pillars of my work, something bad is bound to happen. And I'm like, okay, this is where I let go of the reins and say, I consult. I consult with my guides. Okay, what do we do? You got to let me, which part of the plan that I can be in charge of, which part of the plan you're in charge of. So we work together, and I believe it's a collaboration. And right now, back to the 3D world, I'm still a solopreneur, but I think when the right time is coming, it's now I need to learn how to really, really treat myself as a business or the empire that I'm building. I got to learn how to delegate, but I'm still learning the ropes as we speak. But it's coming. So yes.
Love it. So what's next? What's next for you?
Ooh, that is also a question that I asked all of my guests. What is next for me? You are my accountable accountability partner. I am going to release that talking head content and schedule them all out across all of my platform for the next 1 month. And I am actually setting up a retreat, which it is at least 1 year ahead of right now. So July, maybe fall next year, 2026, I'm going to have my first retreat with this community that I'm building right now, trying to build. And it is, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for that. Don't know where it's going to be held just yet. It's either in America or in Asia, because right now I'm in Asia, but it is coming. But in between that, I feel that once I get this stage, so this is real time. I'm telling everybody that I do face this as well. But once I get past this stage of, creating this content, not just posting my podcast reels, but real stuff that I talk, what experiences, key takeaways from my guests, and my own thoughts about life, about all the topics that I love. I think things are gonna go just like that, and I would love to have my master classes soon, probably early next year, and then the retreat. So that is next for me.
Awesome. That's a pretty well thought out plan there. So do you want, is there anything
next is the most important thing is to execute it, because it's a plan until it's executed, right? It's just a dream.
True. That's right. You said trust the process earlier, which I say that here in the gym all the time, but you also have to your point, to what you just said, you have to do the process. Right? So you have to
exactly
do the
execute,
work.
do the process.
Yeah,
And
so
also
like I can give you the blueprint.
Exactly. Detach from the outcome. Detach from the outcome. Yeah. Do the work, have that vision, detach from the outcome, and do the work. And voila. Before you know it, it's there right in front of you. And I think I love this phrase. A guest told me once. Remember that the journey is the destination. The journey is the destination. So
very, very true. Yeah, because like people, like especially here in the gym. I know you can't tell with the background, but I'm sitting in my gym right now, and the gym I manage, and I tell people, it's a lifestyle. If you just adopt the lifestyle, you're not gonna up and down, up and down, up and down, right? If you just keep it going, then you're gonna be as healthy as you can till whenever your time is up. But like you can't just reach a certain weight and then just stop.
exactly.
Going back to your old habits, and then we're going to be back here again a year from now. So again,
Yes.
going back to what you said, that the journey is the destination. Like you put in the work every single day, then you're going to
Mm.
get the outcomes that you do want. And again, to your point, detaching yourself, going back to the very first question that I asked you, when I ask people to describe themselves, they give me their resume. I'm like, no, that's what you do. Like that's
Mm.
not who you are. It's like, who are you? That you strip away all of those hats. I think I said it on your show. I'm a competitor. Like that's what I'm, a competitor, and I'm an athlete. Like that's who I am. So everything that I do in life is through that lens. You know. And now let me throw it back to you because I got a training session coming up, and you need to get to bed.
Well, thank
Was
you
it?
for the care and concern.
Of
I'm
course.
enjoying this. I'm enjoying this, Robert. Yes.
Good. Good. All right. So, is there anything that you wanna mention that we haven't discussed yet?
Okay, if this is where we part, few messages before we close the interview. I would say I normally give these two quotes to the listeners. Number one, fail often and fail forward. Number two, it's kind of paradoxical to that. Nature is never in a hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So go fast,
True.
go fail fast, fail often, fail forward because you will. You're growing when you're failing. But at the same time, remember to smell the roses. Nature is never in a hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Trust the process that it will be accomplished.
See, I love that. That don't forget to smell the roses, because like I am busy. It's like you got my backstory on your show, but I still take time to do something simple, like to go for a walk on the beach. Even if it's 15 minutes, just take that time to soak it in. Or go for a hike. I like to do obstacle races. So like I'll go and do an obstacle race, just something to just break up. I don't even want to say break up, because I love what I do. Everything I do, from the gym to the podcast to coaching, I love everything that I do. But I am human, and every now and then, you want to step away for a second,
Yes.
and and that's okay. One thing one of my mentors says, because I too, even though I'm a coach, I have a coach. She
Yes,
always
you have
says,
to. You have to.
yeah, yeah. She always says you don't have to be 100% every day. She's like, but be at least 51. She's like, want it
Ooh.
more than you don't want it. She said, one day you can be 60, one day you can be 80, one day you might be full throttle 100%. But you don't have to be 100% every single day. So like there are
Mhm.
some days where I'll work half the day, and say from 2 o'clock on, I'll just relax. But during track season, because track season just ended a few weeks ago, but during track season, I do like 5 consecutive 15-hour days. So on Sundays, I'll work till about noon, and then I'll take the rest of the day off. Like that's my recharge day, and get ready for Monday again. But again, when you're in your purpose, it doesn't feel like work, because people are like, how can you
Yes.
sustain that? I can sustain that because I'm in my purpose. Like I don't feel the tired until I actually get home and get in bed. That's when it
Mm.
hits me. But throughout the day, I'm like, go go go, because other people are counting on me. Getting
Oh,
back
I love
to
that. Yes.
purpose, right? When other
Yes.
people are counting on me, it's easy for me to stay energized. That's why I get home and I crash. you know.
Because you live it out. You lived out your purpose for the day. And then knowing that
Absolutely.
you've done your best and tomorrow is a new brand new day.
All right, so I'm going to throw it back to you for the final word. So I want you to talk to whoever your ideal client would be, and tell them why they should work with you.
Wow. Pitching moment, elevator pitch. If anybody of you are resonating with my story or you want to know more about me, you need to go and find me at my website. Okay. I don't want to sound, because I'm a consultant. I know when somebody's selling to me. But all I can say is if any of this is resonating, this is not a coincidence. It is a confirmation. So if you feel compelled to reach out, anything, if you want to know more about my story or you just want to share, probably give you some guidance, I have all of that available. I have a clarity call. Yes, that's everybody does that. But truly, what I want you to really understand is that I am here as a guide, and the owner of your life is still you. And my role is to help switch on that what do you call that thing? Be that beacon instead of turning that flashlight outwards. I want you to turn it inwards and see that you're actually glowing from within, and this is where everything starts. So whatever dreams that you have, whether it is in your relationship, whether it is in your career, whether it is in your business, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, the answers are all, they're all within you. And you just need to know the ropes on how to get unstuck in those areas. So now, to put it simply, this is my tagline. People trust me to help them get unstuck in anything. Because once you get clarity on what it is that you're hung up on, you know how to transform that and reframe that belief, and then go ahead and go and live your purpose. And so that's it.
Okay, so you see the comment
Oh.
up on the screen.
Aw,
Very
thank
nice.
you. I knew. This is straight to Facebook, or is it LinkedIn? Okay, it's LinkedIn.
This one's on Facebook.
On
Yeah, the
Facebook.
comment.
Thank you.
Yes.
I know. I see you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. I'm sure we're gonna
Thank
cross
you
paths
very much,
again
Robert.
at some point. I do panels. Let me show you one of the slides here. So I do panels where I'll bring back up to 6 of my former guests, and we take one topic and we all round table that one topic. Like this one was embracing vulnerability. And so there were 5 of us, and we just kept taking turns talking about how being vulnerable was tough for us, how we pivoted into facing whatever the fear was, and then what was the result of facing that fear. So it's like it's broken up into those 3 sections, and then everybody just takes turns, talking. So if you're interested in being on one of those in the future, let me know, and I'll reach out when I'm doing them.
You mean me? Oh,
Yes.
that would be an honor. Yes, please count me in.
You mean me?
Yeah, I mean, like, I thought you're speaking to your audience, but yes, Robert, sign
No, I
me
was
up.
talking to you.
It would be. It is an honor. Yes.
That's
yes.
great. All right, I'll be in touch with you, but I do gotta run. Thank you again.
All right.
And this will get immediately uploaded to Spotify. And after I have my training session, I'll send you some reels and the raw footage. All right.
Awesome. Thank you,
All
Robert.
right.
You take care and stay in touch.
You too. Will do. Good night.
Good morning to you. Good afternoon. Okay. Have a great one.
Bye.
You've been listening to Shut Up and Grind. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from this show. Robert has over 20 years experience pouring his knowledge and expertise at many events in the service and fitness industry, as well as secondary schools and universities. He has a true passion for helping others break through the barriers that are holding them back. To book Robert B. Foster to speak or to reach out, go to robertbfoster.com. Till next time, shut up and grind.